He ignored the woman who would become his wife. Now she's the mother of a rising music star. A girl walks into a room excited to meet the guy her famous dad keeps talking about. She walks up to him, smiles, and says hello. The guy barely looks at her, mumbles something quick, and walks away like she's nobody special. That girl was Fay-Ann Lyons, daughter of the legendary singer Superblue. The guy who snubbed her, that was Bunji Garlin, the man who would later marry her and build one of music's greatest love stories. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start from the beginning. Ian Antonio Alvarez was born on July 14, 1978, in a small town called Arima in Trinidad. Nobody called him Ian though. Everyone knew him as Bunji. As a kid, Bunji wasn't dreaming about being famous. He was just a church drummer playing music on Sundays. His mom and dad had roots in St. Lucia in Venezuela, giving him a mixed background that shaped his unique sound. Growing up in Trinidad meant Carnival was everywhere. The music, the dancing, the energy was all around him. But Bunji didn't jump into soca music right away. He took his time, learned the drums, felt the rhythms, and slowly found his own style. By the early 2000s, Bunji was making noise in Trinidad's music scene. People started calling him the Viking of Soca because of how he performed. He wasn't like other soca artists who just wanted you to party and have fun. Bunji brought something different. He had this aggressive energy, this warrior vibe that made you want to jump up and fight the air. A radio guy in Sweden actually gave him that Viking nickname, and it stuck because it fit him perfectly. Bunji mixed hip-hop attitude with Caribbean rhythms, and it worked. Now back to that awkward first meeting in 2001. Bunji was backstage at the Hardcore Brass Festival. Superblue, one of the biggest names in soca history, had been telling his daughter Fay-Ann about this talented young artist. When they finally met face to face, Bunji acted strange. He said hi really quick and basically ran away. Fay-Ann thought he was rude. She told people he snubbed her. But Bunji tells a different story. He says he was so nervous meeting Superblue's daughter that he didn't want to seem disrespectful or like he was trying too hard. So he kept it super short and left. Either way, that first meeting was a disaster. A few years passed. Bunji was driving around Trinidad one day when a song on the radio made him stop his car. The voice was incredible. It had this tough, confident sound that he'd never heard from a female soca artist before. He asked some guys nearby who was singing, and they all shouted about this amazing new artist. Bunji didn't realize it yet, but that voice belonged to Fay-Ann Lyons, the same girl he'd awkwardly met years earlier. She had grown into her own star, stepping out of her father's shadow and creating music that mixed old-school soca with modern rap influences. Here's the funny part. Bunji wanted to call Fay-Ann, but he felt shy. So what did this tough guy do? He pretended he was trying to call his sister and accidentally called Fay-Ann instead. Can you imagine? This is the same guy who performs like a warrior on stage, acting too nervous to just call a girl he likes. Fay-Ann saw through his little trick immediately. They both laugh about it now. That fake accidental call started everything. Soon they were talking every day, then dating, then falling in love. On December 23, 2006, Bunji and Fay-Ann got married. Trinidad went crazy. This was their power couple, like Beyonce and Jay-Z, but for Caribbean music. But here's what made them different from most celebrity couples. They didn't compete against each other. Instead, they had this beautiful way of thinking about success. When Bunji won something, Fay-Ann celebrated like she won it herself. When Fay-Ann won, Bunji acted like he'd won. They said it perfectly: if he wins, she wins, and if she wins, he wins. The trophy goes to the same house anyway, so why fight each other? Then 2009 happened, and it became legendary. Fay-Ann was pregnant with their first baby. Most women would rest and take it easy during pregnancy. Not Fay-Ann. She decided to compete in Fantastic Friday, one of the biggest music nights in the Caribbean. What happened that night shocked everyone. Fay-Ann won 3 major titles in one night: Power Soca Monarch, Groovy Soca Monarch, and People's Choice Award. Nobody had ever won all 3 before. She made history while pregnant. And it gets better. She also won the Carnival Road March that year. Where did Bunji place? Second. His song Clear D Road came in right behind his pregnant wife's song Meet Superblue. Instead of being upset, Bunji was the proudest husband in Trinidad. A few weeks after Carnival ended, on February 28, 2009, their daughter Syri was born. The baby who had been in the belly during those historic wins was finally here. Suddenly, these two non-stop performers who traveled the world constantly had to figure out parenting. Bunji admits everything changed. Before Syri, they barely stayed home. They'd fly from country to country, festival to festival, living like wild travelers. After their daughter came, they had to slow down and think differently. They had to plan their tours carefully and make sure one parent was always available. The early days were tough. Imagine finishing a high-energy concert at midnight, exhausted and ready to sleep. But you can't because your baby needs feeding and changing and attention. Bunji jokes that his daughter didn't care how tired her famous parents were. She needed what she needed when she needed it. But both parents say those challenging nights were worth it. Fay-Ann especially wanted Syri to have a stable childhood, not the chaotic life she'd seen growing up around musicians. What makes Bunji and Fay-Ann work so well together? They're complete opposites, and that's their strength. Fay-Ann is the planner. She thinks ahead, organizes everything, and keeps their life running smoothly. She handles tour schedules, business decisions, and makes sure nothing falls through the cracks. Bunji is different. He's more relaxed, more go with the flow. He calls himself the backup guy. If Fay-Ann has 10 things to do and one doesn't get done, Bunji picks it up without complaining. She's the brain, he's the heart. Together they balance perfectly. Their parenting style surprises people. You'd think rich celebrity parents would spoil their kid with expensive toys and gifts, right? Wrong. Bunji and Fay-Ann revealed something shocking: they haven't bought Syri a Christmas gift in years. Why? Because she doesn't ask for one. They don't even put up a Christmas tree in their house. For them, the holidays are about family time and helping their community, not buying stuff. They want to teach Syri that happiness doesn't come from things. They've seen rich people who are miserable and poor people who are joyful. Money doesn't equal happiness, and they want their daughter to understand that early. Growing up, Syri showed zero interest in following her parents into music. Instead, she loved technology and digital art. She taught herself how to edit photos, create designs, and work with colors and scales on the computer. She was also obsessed with Broadway shows and theater performances. Bunji and Fay-Ann never pushed her towards soca music. They let her explore her own interests, believing she needed to find her own path. But here's the big twist for 2025. Everything changed. Syri is now 15 years old and just made her music debut. Her mom Fay-Ann released a song called Road Meeting, and Syri is featured on it, singing the intro and chorus. Fay-Ann says her daughter is amazing at it. This makes Syri a third-generation soca artist. Her grandfather Superblue is a legend. Her parents are champions. Now she's joining the family business, but with her own modern twist. She goes to St. Joseph's Convent School in Port of Spain and balances homework with her new music career. Her love for digital art might even change how she makes music videos in the future. Let's talk about Bunji's career success because it's seriously impressive. He won the International Soca Monarch competition 4 times in 2002, 2004, 2005, and 2008. That's like winning the Super Bowl 4 times. But his biggest international breakthrough came with the song called Differentology in 2012. That song exploded everywhere. It hit number 2 on iTunes worldwide and reached number 7 on Billboard's reggae chart. It stayed on that chart for 18 weeks. The famous DJ duo Major Lazer even remixed it, helping spread soca music to people who'd never heard it before. Bunji won a Soul Train Award for that song in 2013. Then came the Grammy. Bunji worked with Skrillex and Diplo on their album called Jack. That album won the Grammy for Best Dance or Electronic Album, making Bunji a Grammy-winning artist. His music also appeared in weird places. The video game Grand Theft Auto for Eustace Songbird on the soundtrack. Millions of gamers around the world heard Caribbean music because of that. Netflix used another song called All or Nothing in a TV show called Impulse. These moments helped Bunji become more than just a Caribbean star. He became a worldwide ambassador for Trinidad's culture. In 2017, Bunji released an album called Turn Up that reached number 3 on Billboard's Reggae Albums chart. That same year, Trinidad's government gave him the Silver Hummingbird Medal, a special national honor for bringing attention to their country's music. For a guy who started as a church drummer in a small town, this was incredible. Fay-Ann's achievements deserve major respect too. She's won the Carnival Road March 3 times in 2003, 2008, and 2009. She's the only woman ever to win it 3 times and one of only 3 artists to win back-to-back years. She writes most of her own songs, learning from her father who won the Road March 9 times. She's broken so many barriers for women in soca music that her impact can't be measured. She's not just Bunji's wife, she's a legend in her own right. Together, they run their own band called Asylum where they help younger artists learn the business. Fay-Ann handles the paperwork and business side while Bunji focuses on the creative stuff. Though they work together on everything, Fay-Ann also started fitness programs through something called hibernation, showing they care about health and staying in shape. They organize special carnival events like boat rides and street parties, creating their own traditions. Their yearly schedule is absolutely crazy. As soon as Trinidad's carnival ends, they immediately fly to Jamaica for their carnival, then to other Caribbean islands, then Miami, then Toronto, and the cycle never stops. They perform in London, New York, and all over Europe and North America. They're constantly on planes, living in hotels, and performing for huge crowds. But through all that traveling and craziness, they make sure Syri feels loved and supported. The 2025 Carnival season brought some drama though. Both Bunji and Fay-Ann pulled out of the road march competition in March. Why? Because a judge broke the rules by talking publicly about another artist's song before the competition ended, basically influencing who would win before votes were counted. The judge was talking up Machel Montano's song Party before the official results came out. Trinidad's music organization fired that judge, but Bunji and Fay-Ann had already decided to walk away rather than compete in something that felt unfair. Even without competing, Bunji's song Carry It still came in second place with 253 plays, showing people still loved his music. Bunji talked about the controversy in a mature way. He said, when you're a real competitor, you know someone has to win and someone has to lose. He, Fay-Ann, and Machel have all won and lost so many times over the years that they don't take it personally anymore. It's just part of the game, and at the end of the day, they respect each other. Speaking of Machel Montano, Bunji and Machel's relationship is interesting. For years, they had tension and competition between them, fueled by public drama and rivalry. But something surprising happened. They came together and made a song called Bushead that shocked everyone. The reunion happened after 2 years of quiet conversations between Machel's team and Fay-Ann, who handles business for their family. At first, it was just supposed to be a peaceful meeting, nothing about music. But the good energy led to them creating music together, healing old wounds, and showing that even the biggest rivals can become friends. As for money and lifestyle, Bunji and Fay-Ann keep most details private. They don't show off expensive cars or big houses on social media. Different websites guess their combined money is somewhere between $1 and $5 million, earned from concerts, album sales, streaming, business deals, and their band. But honestly, they seem more focused on their cultural impact than getting rich. They measure success by the legacy they're building and the artists they're helping. What's amazing about Bunji and Fay-Ann is how they've stayed together in an industry that destroys most relationships. The music business is brutal. There's temptation everywhere, constant competition, huge egos clashing, and everyone watching your every move. Bunji admits that as performers, they're out in the world where fans sometimes want to get too close. But they've set clear boundaries to protect their relationship. They genuinely like each other, not just love each other, and that friendship is the foundation of everything. Fay-Ann once said something deep about their relationship. She said, when you're around someone who can make themselves stronger through willpower alone, it forces you to grow too. They push each other to be better without tearing each other down. They celebrate each other's strengths instead of feeling jealous. Bunji says Fay-Ann motivates herself, and that self-motivation motivates him too. He believes anyone who can motivate themselves is powerful, and being married to someone like that keeps him sharp. In August 2025, Bunji performed at the Planet Brooklyn Festival with other big artists like Machel Montano and Skillibeng from Jamaica. These international shows prove that soca music is growing beyond the Caribbean and reaching global audiences. Bunji's style of mixing different music types opened doors that were closed before. September 2025 brought sadness though. Bunji's mother, Harriet Alvarez, passed away. This loss hit the family hard because she had supported him through his whole journey from church drummer to international star. Bunji has kept his grief private, honoring his mother's memory by continuing the work and family values she taught him. But the Viking of Soca keeps moving forward. He and Fay-Ann continue performing, helping young artists, raising their daughter, and spreading Caribbean culture worldwide. As Syri steps into the spotlight with her 2025 music debut, the family legacy grows into its third generation. 19 years of marriage, countless awards, international fame, and a daughter finding her own voice. Bunji and Fay-Ann have built something truly special. Their story proves you can be successful without losing your relationship. You can compete at the highest levels while supporting your partner's success. Building a legacy is about more than just personal achievement. From that awkward backstage meeting in 2001 to becoming one of music's most respected power couples, Bunji and Fay-Ann Lyons-Alvarez show us what real partnership looks like. They're not just making music, they're making history, raising a daughter who will carry their values forward, and proving that true love can survive even under the brightest spotlight. As 2025 continues, fans can expect more incredible performances, more amazing music, and probably more surprises from Syri as she develops her talent. The Viking and his queen aren't slowing down, and with their daughter now joining the family business, the Lyons-Alvarez dynasty is just getting started. From a small town to the world stage, from church drummer to Grammy winner, from awkward first meetings to nearly 2 decades of marriage, this is the story of Bunji Garlin, the man who changed soca music forever while building a love story for the ages.